Welcome to Mpowered Living. I'm Sheu. On this podcast, innovative leaders and visionary experts share insights and practical tools for work, family, and marriage. Each episode, we'll explore how to elevate your life while staying grounded in what truly matters to you. You're working hard to navigate relationships, build a thriving family, and create a legacy of purpose. We're here to help you do that with confidence and intentionality. So if you're ready to live a life by design, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to Mpowered Living. I'm your host, Sheu, and my guest today is Eli Weinstein. He is a therapist, a speaker, and host of the Dude Therapist podcast, where he helps couples navigate the messy, real-life challenges of relationships, parenting, and emotional connection. Over the years, Eli has worked with countless couples who entered parenthood expecting it to bring them closer together, only to find themselves overwhelmed, disconnected, and unsure how to navigate the changes that come with raising a family. And in this episode, we talk about why that transition into parenthood is one of the most challenging seasons for so many relationships, the hidden pressures that couples carry but rarely talk about, and how small communication shifts can dramatically change the way partners support each other. We also explore how expectations shape conflict, why invisible labor creates tension in many households, and what it really takes to build a partnership where both people feel seen, supported, and understood. This is a thoughtful, practical conversation that I think a lot of couples will resonate with. Let's dive in. Eli, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I just love that countdown. It gets you so pumped. I feel like it's like a 5, 4. You're like, it's happening. And then we're all pausing. We're like, okay, let's go. And then we're here.
Yeah. Can you imagine if we had that countdown for everything in our life?
I'd be a lot more prepared for things.
Even just
It'd be
the
nice.
5 seconds to take a breath, right?
Yeah, that'd be great. I think we should implement that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's dive in because I have so much I want to ask you about. I know that you've spent your whole career really helping people understand this shift into parenthood. So what do you see as some of the biggest misconceptions about this transition and what people think is going to happen and then what actually happens?
Yeah, I think the biggest misconception is the idea that we innately know how to do it. That, we'll just wake up and we have kids and we're ready to have this whole change happen in our life. I think people have that misconception about relationships in general, that they should know how. I have friends. What's so different about being married or being in a long-term relationship? A lot's different. So when it comes to the transition of being a parent, it's a skill. It's very much a skill that you need to learn. And for anyone who's listening or watching who hasn't had kids yet, they do not give you a playbook or anything at the hospital. They teach you how to keep your child alive in the worst case scenario of choking and death. And they go, you passed, please go now. That's it. And this is more of a skill of how to deal with each other when all that stuff is happening. And it needs to be practiced. It has to be implemented and has to start sooner than later with something, not nothing. And it is very difficult. Of course, on top of the fact that you're trying to keep a human alive, you got to take care of each other. And it's a learning process that most people don't talk about.
Yeah. And you know what's so fascinating? I see, and this happened to us too, just couples that are blindsided by the tension that emerges after they become parents.
Yeah. Just take into account the fact that you're used to getting 8 to 12, 14 hours of sleep, and now you're getting 4 to 6. Hopefully, if you're unlucky, you're getting 1 to 2 hour slots. Your mind and brain is already just overwhelmed and underserved. So take that into account, plus the fact that you have a screaming child who cannot communicate, and you still have to go on and do your work, to your life, take care of things, and try to function and still be a couple. No wonder there's tension. It's pretty obvious there's tension, but how we deal with it or how we not let it take over and crush us as a couple, that's where the real work is, in the nitty gritty of that.
Yeah. So what is your advice if somebody is listening and they're realizing that becoming parents has now put this strain on their relationship? Where would you say they should start? What's the first step?
Oh, no pressure on that question whatsoever. And, read my book,
all
but
the problems in one
solve
answer.
read my book. There's a whole, slew of chapters on different avenues, but start the conversation. Start right there. Go to your partner and be like, hey, this is really shaken things up that I was not ready for. I don't know where or why or how to deal with it, but I think we need to deal with it because I love you. I care about you. This is, supposed to be this wonderful experience, but so far it's been really crappy and hard. And it's not supposed to be easy, but start with that conversation of just like, are you feeling the same way? Is it just me? Am I having a hard time and you're having it easy? What's going on here? And in the beginning of the book, in the introduction, I tell a whole story of my wife and I went on an anniversary during our kid's first year, the anniversary that fell through then. And we were talking about where to go for the holidays. And it led into this massive blowout argument that was one of the worst I've ever had. Why? Because we never talked about the things that were unmet and the needs and the priorities. And I feel unseen and I feel disrespected and I don't think you trust me. And, you're this and you're that. And what about, and pointing all the fingers. We never had the conversation of something feels off. Don't let that linger so long. Start talking about it earlier. And by going to therapy or talking to a couples therapist or myself or anyone in the therapist world, it doesn't mean that your relationship is failing or falling apart. It just means you need external third-party help. So start earlier than later. Start the conversation. So start talking about it. That would be my first suggestion. Don't just let it linger and wait till it blows up 5 years in and then who knows what happens.
So let's just say that somebody's listening and it has been lingering. It has been 5 years, 10 years, and now it feels awkward to even have that conversation. What do you say to those couples?
Yeah. The hard part is when the conversation comes from that perspective of, 5, 10 years ago, I felt and I haven't told you yet. It can really feel like we're going back to the past and, well, what am I supposed to do with that? I can't help you with that. That's 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Get over it. Let it go, right? It can lead to that kind of headspace and mindset. So one of the things I would say, and I have ADHD, so I might say 2 things or 3 things. It depends on where my brain goes. It's a party in there with the idea that I talk to you from how I feel today. The present struggle, the present pain, the context and the backdrop is postpartum, that, time period. But right now I'm feeling, hey, I feel like we don't know each other anymore. I feel like we're lost. I feel like we're disconnected, like the classic line. I feel like we're roommates, right? That's a present feeling. That's not, it might be because of past things, and that is true because who we are today is because of the past. But it's very important to focus on the here and now. Okay, so what are we going to do about what can we do now in here? We can't heal the past and go back. And one of the lines that I have in the book that I didn't know was a quote, for many years until I was doing research for the book and all that stuff. That C.S. Lewis, who I think wrote Narnia, Book of Narnia, and many other wonderful writings, wrote that you can't go in the back and rewrite your story, but you can choose today how you write your future. It's up to the two of you to sit down and then plan. Okay, well, what does our now and future look like? How are we going to write it every day? What are we going to do to take that action and take that, real hold over what we hope to have or what we want to have now going forward? I can't go back and write the past, but I can choose today how it's going to be written for the future.
Okay, so congratulations on your book. I know it was just released. Can you share the book? Yes. Tell us about the book. Do you have one in front of you? Yes. Love it. Love it. Tell us about the book.
It's weird. It has my face like on the back. It's like very weird to me that people are going to be looking at my face. Okay. Good job, Justin Harrison. He was the photographer. Great job. Made me look really nice. It's 80% a relationship book for people, for anyone and anything that you might go through. It's like a good combination of many tactics and tips and tools. 20% is that if you are in the lens of parenting, about to have kids, thinking about having kids, even thinking about being with someone and understanding some good traits and conversations to have with someone you are dating. And it's a really vulnerable, honest story that I write a lot of my mishaps, my wife and I's arguments, many poop explosion stories. And my publisher even asked me to cut back on how many poop explosion stories there were because poop does happen a lot when you have kids. And it is this very engaging, intentional book that really speaks to you from me. It's a person to a person who happens to be a therapist. I'm not a therapist talking down to you. I am here on the level. I have 2 kids, a third on the way. Like, I'm in it. Thank you. I'm in it. I'm not above it. And I work with clients every day who are also in it. And it's such a beautiful honor to be able to write a book like this. And I think in every podcast I've been doing or live that I've been doing, I challenge the listeners to fact check me on this, but I don't think there is a book like this that is a crossover of a parenting book that talks about the relationship and a relationship that talks about being a parent. I think it's the only one out there. I think there might be one that was done in the 70s and 80s, but since then there hasn't been. So it's super exciting to be able to take on this challenge and carry that burden of helping people. But it's something that I love. Like I said, I'm in it. So like I always make a joke. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing in my own relationship, but everyone else's, I now have a book about it.
That's great. Okay, so in your book, you talk about this transition from parenthood and how it really reshapes your identity. Can you talk about what that looks like and why that happens?
Yeah. I had a client years ago that said to me, Ellie, I'm really scared of losing who I am. And I never heard it phrased that much. It's like, oh, like to me, having kids is like, oh, it adds layers to who you are. And he's like, but I'm going to lose the weekend trips and the hang out with this and the alone time with my wife and all that stuff. And it's a very sad reality that we have to come to terms with. There's a grief that goes on with that loss, that you are not who you used to be. You're not who you were when you were single, just like when you were married, right? And when you have kids, you're not going to be like it was when you didn't have kids. So there is an acceptance that has to come with that. But what I said to the client is that you're adding. It's just now you have to figure out a different rotation of the priorities. You can still do those things. It just looks different. So yeah, you can't go skiing on the weekends as often as you did. You can still go once a year and bring your kids and teach them. And now it can be a family trip versus a bro trip. You can still go on a bro trip if you want. If it works for the family and you can make it work, don't stop living just because you have kids. It means you just now have to adjust their perspective of what living looks like. And it's really, really takes a lot of adjustment and time and testing to go, this fits here and this fits there. 1 kid, 2 kid, 3 kid, whatever, how many kids you have, where you live, what job you have. There needs to be this constant work of adjusting and pivoting to this state of life and what works for that. Not that there's just one static self and that I have to just plug that in or not. It's not black and white. It's very gray. And you have to be cognizant of that grayness and understand how to like show up to that reality today and make the most of it. And it will not be perfect and it will not be the same as it used to be, but it doesn't mean it's bad.
How does a relationship keep up with all those adjustments?
A lot of lagging behind because the priority is always going to be the kids, right? No matter how much we put it, the kids in the beginning, like they need us to survive. And even like I have a daughter who's almost 7. She's 6.5 and she will yell at me if I don't say that. She's 6.5. She's not 7. I'm so sorry, Ricky. My son is 4. And like that takes a lot of precedence, getting them ready and all those things. But it doesn't mean you just stop hanging out with each other. It doesn't mean you just stop talking to each other. Years ago, when I was like a young intern, I had a client tell me, she said, Ellie, my relationship is like a downloading of information. It's just logistics. And that's sad. If you can't find 10 to 20 minutes a day to truly just talk to your person about just your day, doesn't have to be, tell me your biggest dreams and wonders and this beautiful, magical Disney scene. It could just be a simple conversation of how are you doing? I haven't seen you all day. It's so nice to see you. I started doing this thing about 6 months ago, where every time I walk into the room, my wife is there. I go, hey, it's my wife, just to show her that she matters. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see you. She might be annoyed by it by now, but it's for me to let her know that you matter to me. And it's those small things. Don't stop doing them and stop worrying so much about the big, fireworks, all the big date nights. That's awesome. Do them. I was misquoted in another podcast where they cut it and clipped it and it looked like they said, don't date. No, you should go on date nights. Please go on date nights. But if you can't, don't stop trying to connect with dating in, playing board games. I just bought like another thing. It's called Tails. It's like these little question cards so that we can pull one out every day or so and ask each other a question about something. Why not?
Yeah.
Or like, what book are you reading right now? Okay, I don't love my wife's beach reads and psychological thrillers. That's always the husband somehow. And I think she's building some case against me. But why do you like it? Why is it interesting to you? Like, bring me into what you're liking. Okay, she doesn't maybe enjoy all the documentaries I watch or the weird sci-fi nerdy books I'm reading or nonfiction books. Hey, what are you reading? Why is it interesting? Like, there's so many opportunities. We just have to open our eyes and mind to find them. And yes, it's hard. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it takes a lot of work. But this is your person. Like, this is the person you love. So just try your best. Just try in little ways to make big impacts.
What's your advice to the couples where one person is evolving faster than the other during this transition?
Mm-hmm. You mean evolving personally or as a parent?
Both, probably, just with this new identity that they have because they're parents now, and one has really like started to find their groove and is settling into the transition, and the other one is just
Like
struggling.
stuck or, yeah, struggling. One, I would have a lot of grace for the person because it is rough. Just because you are on this journey of growth and you're figuring it out and clicking, it might be more innate in you to do it in different ways than they can, and you're finding it. I do find that a lot of moms with even postpartum depression and anxiety somehow find like some strength and power. I have a whole chapter called Mama Magic of this like beautiful, it's a love letter to my wife secretly, but it's really to all women of just like, how do you just push out a baby and you're like on it, like figuring it out, whatever you went through, C-section, whatever it is, like, holy shnikes, like, how are you doing that? And a lot of dads feel very on the sideline. So the one suggestion I would have for men who are struggling, take paternity leave. To me, it is the smartest thing because a lot of times when there is a backup person who happens to also be killing it and awesome and a default parent, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on the scenario, you're like, oh, I can't figure it out. Here, take the baby. When you're on paternity leave and the wife isn't home, it's you and that's it. You have to figure it out. And you do, because it's not that difficult. You just have to find your energy, your vibe, your flavor to parenting. So number one is paternity leave. Number two is give the other person the opportunity and go leave the house. If they can't take paternity leave, depending on their job and finances, moms, go leave for like 2 hours. Go get your hair done. Go to a friend's. Go hang out. Get out of the house for 2-3 hours. Start with half an hour at a time. Don't like throw them in the deep end, but let them learn that they can. For the moms who are struggling, right, with postpartum and that massive change, husbands, be cognizant of what your wife just went through. The person you love just went through unbelievable things. Be kinder, be softer, give them the grace they deserve, and just have their back, because that's the whole point, right? You're gonna do this together. This isn't like two separate teammates trying to fight each other for who's better. You're trying to have a teammate mentality when you're like, how does the team do better? And that means having each other's backs for the wins and cheering them on, whether you have a win or not, and also being there for the losses and the hardships to go, I'm here for you. I'm going to sit on the floor and cry with you or just hold your hand. It's not that hard. It just takes attention, and it takes, what's the word I'm thinking? Intentionality and really just accountability of self to show up for your person. But it is hard. It's difficult because you're in your world and they're in theirs. But you can also try to step over that boundary and be in there sometimes, whereas more often than you can when they're struggling. Also, no judgment. Don't judge. Like everyone's on their own path.
Yeah.
So just be curious. Like, hey, what is your struggles? Why are you having a hard time? I'm here. What can I help to get you here? Instead of going like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why can't you do this? It's what's stopping you? What's holding you back? What are you afraid of? What are you scared of? What worries you? What's hard for you? Maybe they came from a certain childhood. You don't know. Maybe you haven't had these conversations before, but a lot of curiosity versus judgment, because you don't want to make someone feel like garbage just because they're struggling or they can't, or they're having a hard time with something. Be curious to see, can I help you? Do you need help? The story I tell in one of the chapters is I had a massive panic attack when my daughter was born, about 2 months into her life. My wife, we did IVF. There was a lot of pressure of like having this baby. And then my wife had an emergency C-section, and I thought we were going to lose both my daughter and my wife. I don't know what's happening. It's, within 3 seconds in the OR, blood and everything. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And like, I literally, after it was done, the baby was fine. My wife was fine. I went to the bathroom, like literally vomited. My body was in shock, but I never dealt with it. I never focused on it because I was like, I'm a therapist. I'm going to focus on my wife postpartum. I'm going to make sure she's okay. And she killed it. Like, she was amazing. And one night I woke up and I was just on the floor thinking that I was dying. And the simplest, kindest thing my wife did was, I think you need to get help. I think we need to figure this out. What do you need from me? Versus like, you woke me up. What the hell's wrong with you? We're barely sleeping. You're going to do this now? The joke we have is that was the one night that my daughter actually slept 7-8 hours for the first time. And my wife was like, oh, seriously, Ellie, you had to do it tonight? That's a joke we have now. In the moment, it was not a joke, and we didn't talk about that. But it's that kindness and that softness of, my person is struggling, and it doesn't have to be this hate on you or judgment. It could be like, What can I do for you? We have each other's backs. Let's go.
Beautiful. Okay, so what do you say to the women who have a really hard time leaving for the 30 minutes or the hour because there's this like tight grip on control and he's not going to know how to do it and he's not going to
Yeah.
do it perfectly. And so it's easier for me to just do it. How
Oh,
do you address that? Because I think that's a very common theme, not
it
even just
is.
with early parenthood, but just in marriage in general, right? Like,
Yeah.
I want my husband to pack my suitcase because he's not going to do it right. But then I have to pack it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for asking this. I haven't been asked this yet, so I really appreciate like the different nuanced questions that I get to like think of different answers. So it's so fun. Thank you. I appreciate it. Um, what I would say is that I started using this metaphor, and I wish I can go back into the book and add it, but it's published. Can't do anything. So how about everyone buy all the books possible so that I get a second edition and I can just add it in. It's like to me a race, like when you're passing the baton.
Hmm.
If you keep holding on, the other person can't continue the race. You're holding them back. You have to let go and let them run the track their way, their speed, their cadence, their rhythm. Usain Bolt can't run the race for everyone. If he keeps holding on, he's holding the other person back, no matter how fast he is, no matter how good he is. So same thing with parenting, right? You're right. It is scary to let go because you're used to doing it so often. But if you don't let the other person learn and let go of that control, you are now putting yourself in a box of doing it for the rest of your life.
Mm.
It is a learned helplessness, and no one deserves that. I don't care how broad your shoulders are to handle that burden, and the crown is heavy for the default parent. It is, but it's unfair to you. Screw the other person for a second. It's unfair to you to take on that burden all the time. This is your opportunity to say, I might do it more often than not, but I know and trust that they can because I've given them a shot. I've given them a chance. And the other thing I would add is this is not life or death. Changing a diaper, reading a book, feeding a child is not they will die. It's just not the way you want them to do it, maybe, but it still gets done. So as long as the box is checked and you didn't have to do it. But the box is still checked. The baby is fed. Okay, so they hold the baby like this versus like this. Okay, so they put on clothes and it's mismatched, but they're wearing clothes, right? Okay, so they're having, the bedtime is 10 minutes later or 30 minutes later because they were playing. You read a book this way and did voices, and we don't do voice, whatever it is, but it's done. It's taken care of. Isn't that beautiful to see your person find their way of being an adult and a parent? That's such a beautiful honor you get to give to them. So start small. Give them minimal, small tasks that you are comfortable handing over or less stressed about. Because it could be that you're still not comfortable, but you're just less stressed.
Yeah.
And that say, you know what? Let's see what happens. Because the kid's not going to die. You're just letting the adult take a walk with the baby
Yeah.
in a stroller, strapped in a perfect weather, or it's not like there's like snow and just let them try, let them fail, let them learn their self. So you don't have to like hold that against them, hold resentment and feel like you got to do everything on the planet because you don't have to. You have a person here to share the load with.
Okay, so how do you know where to draw the line between the things that still feel misaligned and you really need to align on versus the things that should be okay to just let them do their way, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
earlier, the example you used was, oh, you read the story with voices. Like maybe that's very clear, but in some families, I could see that being a point of contention. The mom is very like, we don't do, this type of
Yeah.
voices, and like we
No
talk
silliness.
no baby talk, like we talk,
Yeah.
right? And so how do you know what's the thing that you need to hold the line on, and we need to hash this out and we need to figure out where we stand, and how do I know that that's just something that, okay, they need to just be able
It's
to
just
do
a
it their
quirk I need to let go. Yeah. So one, I would discuss and sit down about what are the reasons behind that rule or that way of doing things. And by the way, I've seen many dads be, can I curse?
way? Yeah.
Okay, to be hard asses and to be really intense. I've worked with many couples where the dad was like the army brat kind of guy
Yeah.
who was like, no laughing, dinner's at this time and we sit this way and it has to be all or and they scream and yell to make sure that they are heard and that it's all perfect. It's not always the moms, but it is a lot of times, the default, especially in the beginning of like how things are done. If a diaper isn't put on right, that's not a value of how we do things. It's a, you weren't paying attention, let's do it better.
Yeah.
Right? When it comes to bedtime and there's something off that you do that you don't think is good or right, just don't criticize in the moment. Don't make someone feel stupid in the moment because there's nothing to do anymore. Talk about it calmly afterwards. Be curious of like, okay, why did you just choose to do that? What was your mindset? And then it gives you the opportunity to share why you feel it's important. Well, I saw something on Instagram. Please don't say that statement. But if you saw something on Instagram by a random influencer who said to take, whatever supplements and all these things, like, please ask a doctor. But if you did see something on Instagram that inspired you to do bath time, then reading, then bedtime, or whatever it is, right? And you think that it helps calm you down and the baby, express that to your partner. Let them know why it's important. Because maybe they'll take it into account and go, oh, I didn't think of it that way. I was just like, I'll be honest, my wife is a dietitian. We did baby-led weaning for feeding our kids. I thought it was the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. We're going to put food in front of a 6-month-old and expect it to eat it. It can barely move its head correctly. Like, this is so stupid. Just feed the baby, give it, baby food, and it'll be fine. My wife's like, no. I looked into this and did research. This is my profession. I'm telling you that there's a lot of research. There's a big thing in Europe, and we took the course. And it really made me aware of why it was. Still, some days I'm like, oh, okay, this is a joke. But there's a lot more understanding for my wife's perspective because we sat down and talked about it versus me going, no, my mom always did it this way, so we're doing it. Okay, but my mom did it this way and my dad did. My dad never changes a diaper. He still hasn't changed a diaper. I change diapers, right? So it's okay to question what you used to do, but asking the question, why is it important? What's the value behind it? And then it opens the conversation for each other of, okay, let's have real conversations about the values of what we want to embrace as parents. Do we want to be silly? Do we want to be funny? Do we want to be serious? How do we implement that? What does that actually look like practically to a day-to-day life? And then reassess that when your kids grow. And it's okay to kind of like butt heads, but as long as you're understanding why the other person's passionate about it, it's not just the answer because, but it has some backdrop to it of a thought process. It gives the other person a little more kindness and compassion that it matters to you for a reason versus you just being an annoying butt that's just trying to like have it your way. And again, you're not enemies. You are teammates trying to focus on a problem. The joke I always make is like, would you ever see a sports player like steal the ball or puck or whatever sport you're thinking of from the other teammate and go like, haha, I scored? No, that person would be fired or benched. Right? You have to think of like, we are working together for one common goal, which is to raise this child. So read the books, listen to the podcasts, get information and talk about it versus just being oblivious to the different information. There are like 4 different ways to sleep train your kid and like 7 different ways to potty train your kid and 30 different ways on how to parent your kid. So read. If something feels right to you, express it to your partner, pitch it to them and try it. Don't just poo-poo it because it wasn't how you used to do it or what you thought. Open your mind a little bit, see what other people are doing, figure it out, and come together as a team.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so you mentioned something just now about us against the problem instead of me versus you.
Yeah.
How, because, even my husband and I are still guilty of this, but like
Same.
Why is it so hard to remember that the problem is in front of us, in between us, and not us against each other?
Yeah. I think, and by the way, totally in the same camp. Like I go at my wife sometimes and she goes at me about like, we're attacking each other. And it's like, what the hell? This is about like your mother or your mother-in-law or like our kids spilled something. Why am I yelling at you?
Yeah.
Right. So I think a lot of times it's because we are overwhelmed and dysregulated. We just don't know what else to do. So who's the closest other responsible being? It's the other adults. What am I going to do? Yell at my kids because something happened outside?
Yeah.
No. I hope I do yell at my kids randomly. It's just like it happens. But we look at the person who's the other adult who is involved in running the home. Well, if something doesn't go as planned and we're stressed about getting in the car and packing the car to get to the airport, running late, I'm overwhelmed. You're stressed. The kids are crazy. We're going to yell at each other because it's just the energy of the moment. It's not that I forget it. My brain can't even think about it. I'm not even there. My brain is somewhere else. I'm like, survival. Oh my gosh, get to the airport, shut up, get in the car, lock the door. Can you guys stop? And you're just going and overwhelmed. So the thing that is really important is one, like my wife and I have a cute like thing where we look at each other and we go sassafras. It's our way of saying like us, like we got this, we're a team, like reminding each other. So if we start losing our minds, which happens plenty of times during the week, even maybe in a day, we kind of like hold each other like, or look at each other and we go sassafras, like pull it back a little bit. Hey, we're a team. Don't forget that. We got this. That's like the cue word or the trigger word for that conversation. Sassafras?
Mean.
It's some stupid word. I think it's a flower or some.
It's an
thing.
actual word.
Yeah.
So it's just like you just picked.
By the way, I didn't know this until my wife taught me this word because it was from some stupid video in the 90s. Sassafras, but the person had a lisp, so it sounded funny. Or like, I have another cue word in the book with it, which is rompus, which is one of my favorite words, from where the wild things are, to dance and to jump around. So I like to do these things where I have a word, and I do this with my clients, a word that is a whole conversation outside the word. We've talked about it a bajillion times. You don't need to have another conversation of, hey, honey, stop yelling at me. We're on the same team. We've talked about this a million times. And start getting, just say, hey, sassafras, we got this. We're on the same team. We have many different like trigger words. It's hard to keep track. I wish I had like a little word, a little 3x5. Okay, what does this word mean? What's the code? I don't know the password. But it's you have a few of them that mean when you're having a constant theme of arguments or a constant struggle, make a word that is snaps you out of it and pulls you back into teammate mentality. What I say is a lot of times we don't have this, like Stan Tatkin talks about this a lot, the bubble in his work Attached. I call it the force field because I'm a Star Wars sci-fi nerd, but the force field has to be strong, but you have to have conversations of what that's made of. What are those links and chains that keep you guys connected, that you're not looking at each other, but you're looking outwards towards the problem together? Your kid's screaming and having a tantrum because it's bedtime and they want to watch more Bluey or whatever the tantrum is, or you use the wrong color plate, or you cut something and they wanted it whole, whatever the ridiculousness that happens in our lives with kids. That should not be something that I now yell at you about. If my kid falls and hurts themselves, you don't blame me. The kid fell. I didn't push him. The kid got hurt. Okay, so I was sitting there and I didn't react fast enough. It's not my fault. And it's not even the kid's fault. He's a kid. He tripped. So why would I yell at you? Why would you yell at me? Because I'm overwhelmed and I'm concerned and worried. Okay, then focus outwards toward the problem. Hey, are you doing okay, buddy? Versus, Ellie, what the hell's wrong with you? Why do you let this happen? I was just sitting here. What do you want from me? I wasn't. So that's like something that happens so often with parents, that they snap at each other because they are looking at the person as the problem and they need to blame something for whatever craziness is happening in their home, instead of looking at each other and going, okay, how are we going to handle this together? Right? It's a very hard mind shift. Nothing I'm saying right now is easy. This is very difficult because we're so used to doing it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, adjust it 5% less, just 5%. Would just lighten the home a little bit more, lighten the relationship. I'm not saying cut it out, please, if you can, that'd be great. But realistically, a successful relationship is about 60-40% positive to negative interactions within a week. 70-30 is ideal. 80-20, 90-10, you're not really married. You're not really in a relationship with a human. That's impossible. But I would say 70-30 is the goal. 60-40 is reality. If you can have 60% more positive interactions than 40, but what the reality is that 40 or 30 to 40% is happening negatively. It's okay. It's how you deal with it, how you get back together and recover as a team. But good stuff is also happening. So it's just making sure that we're lessening the negative by 5, 1, 2, whatever it is, 5, 10%, so that it feels a little more light and a little more normal and a better flow. But it is hard to not snap at your person when things go wrong.
Yeah, I'm so guilty of that.
Oh, me too.
Let me just publicly apologize to my husband. I'm sorry, Sonny.
I'm sorry, Ariella.
Okay, let's talk about invisible labor. Why is this such a point of contention between couples? And why, there's a lot of conversation now about invisible labor, but why is it still an issue? Like, if we're all talking about it, like, why is it still a problem?
Because people are stupid. People are stupid. Why is it a problem? Because people are stupid. Why do people argue, no, it doesn't exist? Yes, it does. The thing is, it's very hard for people to be compassionate and kind when they don't see it. If I saw you were bleeding out, I would be kind to you. But if you're like, Well, in my head, I have all these narratives and things I have to worry about that either I'm putting on myself or other people are putting on me. And I have all these responsibilities that you don't see and you don't really know of. How am I supposed to care about that? I'm like, okay, sucks for you. So it's the controversy is that people aren't being kinder to their people when they're struggling internally. So what I would say when it comes to mental load, and yes, it exists, and most women struggle more about this than men. Men do have mental load. It's just a different system that it's running on. So it could be bigger things to small things, different things they're thinking about. When are the taxes due and who's taking care of landscaping and all those classic man things. But men worry about things too. It's just, according to Susan David, when it comes to like emotional agility, men are less hamster wheels. They're more bottlers. It's somewhere. They don't have access to it, but it will explode at some point. And then everything comes out. It's like vomit. It just comes out. So that's when you hear all the different nuanced things. With women, it's like a hamster wheel. It's brewing. It's constantly going. And there's more things being added to the wheel. At some point, the gears of the wheel will break. It's too much. So I have two different ideas to help with this for anyone struggling with this. They both have to do with a conversation. Number one, the conversation is to ask for help. What I mean by that is you write down all the things on your mind that day or that week and let the other person know, hey, you see this list of all the things? The birthday party, getting the gift for this and making sure that this is packed and making sure in 2 weeks this is coming. And I also need to make sure we restock this and that has to happen there. All the stuff. There's a million examples I can give that I don't need to do because everyone's thinking about them. Hey, which 2 or 3 can you do for me that are in your wheelhouse or you're comfortable with? I really need your help. Invite them in. Don't say, do it. I need your help. You suck. You're doing nothing. That doesn't solve anything. That makes them feel small and stupid. And then also it's very easy to get into the, oh, really? You don't think I do anything? Here's how much I do. And you don't like, it's just too easy. It brings that, it's such an easy argument to get into and it's so pointless. So find the 3 things or 4 things that you really, that you like, you can do this. I believe in you. That's number 1. Please take it off. I need your help. I know you can handle this. I really need your help this week. I'm a little overwhelmed or a lot overwhelmed. So it's more of a passing the baton conversation. The second conversation, if that isn't possible, depending on your life, your personality traits of that you don't want to let go of that. The second thing is just letting them know and letting them aware that you were overwhelmed by these things so they can see it. There's now a reality. It's really tactile. Oh, this list, holy crap, that's a lot of stuff. I had no idea you were worrying about those 7 things. Why are you dealing with my mother about that? I can handle that. What? That's what happened with your friends and it got canceled? I had no idea. You saw what on social media that made you upset and now you're overwhelmed? Why are you telling me this? Thank you for sharing with me. Now I have some tactile thing that I can look at you and go, I'm so sorry, or I can have gratitude and see you for the efforts you're making. A lot of the struggle of the invisible load is that I don't feel seen. So the 2 conversations are, here's what you see it, and I need you to do something because I'm struggling. I see your struggle. The second conversation is, I had no idea. It's below the surface. It's not some external cut that I can see. Thank you so much for all you do. And if that is not the response of your person, please call me. If the response is, deal with it, shut up, you're such a wussy, you can't handle this, grow up, you're an adult, that is an unhealthy person that you're dealing with. That is not a kind person who says that if they say they love you, they should do better. That needs to be worked on, not the invisible load. Their response system for when you're struggling needs to be worked on. But that would be the 2 conversations I would suggest.
So let's talk about the Holy Trinity model for healthier communication. Can you walk us through that framework and why it works?
Yeah. So I know I'm an Orthodox Jew and Holy Trinity, it's not a religious thing, I promise. And people were like, Ellie, what is this? I'm like, it's just a mental health construct. Relax yourself. Everyone relax. It's the idea that our expectations and perceptions impact our reality. It's a very CBT thought process, right? It's like a triangle, right? And there is a triangle in the book with don't worry, I put it in there. And the idea is that if I have a certain expectation and you don't meet that expectation, my perception of you is a negative. And now the way I interact with the reality that you're in is off, misaligned, and misguided. And I'm now going to treat you because of that distinction. So if I have an expectation that you're at home all day and XYZ should be taken care of, I never express it. I never talk about it. I just expect it. and I come home and it's not done, you're a lazy son of a bitch. Like, you're a terrible person. Like, I hate you. Like, that's what you are. But you don't know what happened at the house. You weren't there. There could have been 7 emergencies, 3 phone calls, and the dog got out of the, yard. You don't know. So what I would suggest to people is that if you have certain expectations, one, voice them. Let someone know, hey, if you're home all day, can you please take care of this? That'd really mean a lot to me. Just get the expectations out there. Don't leave them in. Don't leave things unsaid, because then you're going to be disappointed. It might not get done, but at least you're saying it out loud, so it could have the potential of being done. And the other thing when it comes to the perception piece is try to live in the neutral to benefit of the doubt positive perspective of your partner. If you have an expectation that's not done and you didn't say it, or you did, and you then perceive the person with I'm sure they were busy, or if they did have time, they said they would do it, I'm sure something came up. That positive perspective, Phil Stutz talks about this in is one of his tools of like active love. You're taking the love and you're shoving it towards them. That's what we have to do with that misalignment, that piece of perception. Because once you have a more positive or neutral perception of your person, you're not going to be as pissed or angry or resentful. You're going to be calmer. You're going to be more understanding, more caring to the fact that they have things on their plate too. It's not all up to expectations that things will get done. And then you can kind of deal with it together or deal with it individually and go, oh, you had a rough day? I'll cook dinner. Oh, I didn't realize that you had to do that and that. Like, or be curious with what happened today? Is everything okay? Yeah, I just got really busy. It's not the assumption of they must have been sitting on the couch all day doing nothing. If they were, that's a different conversation. Talk to them about that. But you don't know that yet. So find out.
What would you say to the women that are like, oh, but he should just know? Why don't
I
you
hate
tell
that.
him? Why do I have why do I have to say it out loud?
You're right. He should know. That's a really nice idea, ideally. If you've been married for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and you've been doing the same rhythm of life every day, you're right. He should know. And you should know all the things that he wants on his mind. That doesn't happen, but it doesn't happen. And no one says, well, you should know. My point is that no one should be living in that world of you should know something, because every day is different. Every day is different. You might have a really good guesstimate of what the person should be doing, or where their headspace is, or the butt of the joke, or the ending of the story because you've heard it a million times. You have a pretty close 97 or 95% closeness, but it doesn't mean it shouldn't hurt to try and let them know anyways, because it gives them the opportunity to go, oh yeah, I will take care of that. Is it annoying to do that? Yes. Is it more work? Yes. But relationships are work. We live in this world of like, oh, it should just be easy and everything should just be like, I plug and play and then I let it go and I don't have to worry about it. Set it and forget it. This is not like a pressure cooker or like a crock pot. This is a human being. You don't set it and forget it. Every day is a different challenge. Every day is a different action you have to take to make it work. And it is difficult. But that resistance to be like, well, I shouldn't have to repeat myself. You're creating more problems than just telling them. It's not that hard. It takes a lot more effort and plenty more risk to your relationship to have that resentment or that, I'm not going to do that. That's a lot more risk than the ease of just going, hey, honey, can you please take care of the dishes? That'd really mean a lot to me. The garbage, that'd really be great. Remember, you're from a different vantage point than they are. They will never see the world like you, ever. Whether it's because of the height difference, where they come from. I mean, the joke is, right, when you have a toddler or a baby, what do? You get on all fours and you crawl around to see where the plugs are, where you're going to stick your fingers in, or the corners. I can't expect anyone to know that. I have to get on all fours and see that. I'm 6'2". I barely see my son. I knock him over all the time. He's so tiny. But like, I have to get on his level. But it takes practice to get on that level. I also need you to tell me how to get on your level and see what you see. I'm not going to know that. That's the skill part. That's the assumption that you should just know it because we're together. No, I shouldn't. But it is hard and it is annoying, but it has to get done.
Okay, I would like to talk about modern masculinity because
let's do it.
Yes, because this is a theme that has been coming up for me all year around the feminine and the masculine energy and something that I have been working with my husband on is just like, what does it look like for me to really soften this year and not be so intense and hard driving and controlling, and really soften to create the space for him to be more masculine. And so
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, what do you wish men understood more about this dynamic? And what do you wish women understood more about the dynamic?
Yeah. So I have a whole chapter called Dudes to Dads, which is about this topic. I wanted to write a whole book on this, and I was told no one would buy it.
I'll
So
buy it.
thank you. I really wanted to write like a mental health
Do
book
it,
for
please.
men. Maybe my second book. Call Wiley and call publishers. We'll do it together. You'll write the foreword. There we go. We got it. You heard it here. And I start off the chapter with the scene from Sparta when the guy's at the edge of the well and he yells, "This is Sparta," and he kicks the guy, right?
Mhm.
And it's like iconic, and there's muscles and sweat
Yeah.
everywhere and meat and just
Yeah.
screaming, right? That to me is what everyone thinks masculinity is. And to me, and the quote I have in the beginning of the chapter is my daughter. Because one time my uncle passed away a couple years ago, and I was telling her that I had to go to the funeral, and I was crying. And he goes, "Daddy, you're not allowed to cry. You're a man. You're a daddy. You're not supposed to cry." Like, that breaks my heart that like people think that, right? So masculinity and femininity, they play off of each other. It's this beautiful dance that everyone can hold both in a different ratio that day. I might be a little more feminine than other people because I have a little more moisturizer than my wife steals my moisturizer, by the way. Just so we're clear. It's not hers, they're mine. Neutrogena, it's mine. Or whatever. That's a personality type. It doesn't mean that I'm any less of a man because I use moisturizer because my skin is rough or whatever it is. But it also doesn't mean that I am more feminine than my wife because I cry differently than she does. Right? It's this mix and match, and these boxes and these labels just hurt people more than anything else because who freaking cares? But the point is that embrace who you are fully without being embarrassed, without being ashamed. If you want to cry, cry. If you want to go bro out at a gym and you're a woman and you want to have crazy muscles, enjoy yourself. Go kill it at the gym. If you want to have meat instead of a salad at your date, you're not less womanly because you want to have a burger that's messy and disgusting. Enjoy your life, enjoy yourself. But it's about teaching people that they can be many facets of who they are without it being labeled as a problem or not what they should be. Oh, you're such a masculine woman. Thank you. I mean, isn't that the whole thing like Encanto, right? That woman was like so muscular and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, I feel so seen." I'm happy people feel seen. We didn't need a movie to do that. We should just respect that Ilona Amar is a beast at rugby. She's awesome. Who cares if she has huge muscles and is bigger? Good for her. She's herself. That's what we have to worry about. So when it comes to men and this idea of softness and it being a weakness or a problem, grow up. Please grow up, men. It's okay to have emotions. It's okay to feel your feelings. And if you don't want to cry in public, don't. And if you do, good for you. And if someone hates on you because you cried and they saw you, screw them. Don't be friends with people like that. Don't have people around that are like that.
Yeah.
So you cried. So you watch a Disney movie and someone dies in the movie and you cry. Okay. You read a good book and you get moved emotionally. No one questions happiness, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
No one's like, "Oh, you can't be happy here. What is wrong with you? You're a man." No, but like when it comes to these sophomore emotions, everyone's like, "Oh, you must be weak." You're not. You're just a full human. Today, that's showing up for you. Today, that's what it is. And that's beautiful. And it's about finding that balance that works for you, that ratio today that works for you, and embrace it and love it for whatever that is.
That's good. I love it. Okay. I would like to do a couple rapid fire questions.
Ooh, let's go.
Okay. One habit
Purple. Okay, sorry. I thought I was ready.
that couples connected.
Say it again.
One habit that keeps couples connected.
Small, cutesy, loving things. Like a tushy squeeze, a special handshake, a little wink, some, cute thing that my wife and I, we have weird nicknames for each other that I Googled when we were dating. I think I'm passion fruit and she's booger. I Googled like weirdest names, and every card that we write to each other, birthday, anniversary, that's the only time we use them.
Yeah.
Is that. It's like the cute reminder, like, I remember when we did that. Oh, we're so stupid. Like we never call each other that, but it's like a cute little thing that's just for us, just between us. And now whoever listens to the show.
That's great. One question partners should be asking each other more often.
What do you need for yourself?
For yourself.
Mm-hmm. What can I do for you? Instead of like me, I need this, turn it towards them. See what they say. See what they're missing that you can help them with. It really helps someone feel seen.
A healthy partnership begins when
We stop hiding from issues and we start looking at them dead in the face and talking about them and dealing with them.
Okay. And then I would love for you to just share like what you're working on, what's on the horizon for you. If people want to connect and learn more, what are some of the
Yeah.
resources available?
So my podcast, The Dude Therapist, is always going on. It got relaunched this beginning of the year with a production company.
Nice.
Super exciting. It's actually done professionally, not just like a mom and pop, just me.
Nice.
The Dude Therapist. I'm a dude who happens to be a therapist. The book launch is continuing. Every week is trying to get more opportunities. So if anyone has speaking gigs or anything like that, please, if you want me to come to your town and do a book event, I'd love to. And if you want to reach out or work with me or ask any of your questions, please go to EliWeinsteinLCSW.com. You can send me an email. You can DM me, EliWeinstein_LCSW. What's on the horizon? Hopefully a nap. I really need a nap. It's a lot of work making a book for a year and a half and then doing a media push, but it's only good things. And it's really an honor to be here and an honor to have written this book. And hopefully it gets in people's homes and changes hopefully one thing helps them. Just one thing is all I ask. Just don't give up on the book. Just look at one thing. If you find one thing, that will help you more than nothing.
Yeah. I'm so excited to share this book with the world. I can't wait for everybody to get a copy. So
Me too.
yeah, thank you so much for spending time with us today. It's been amazing. And I would love to have you back one day. I mean, it's been an incredible conversation.
Just ask. I'll be there.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to Empowered Living. I hope today's conversation sparked some inspiration and gave you tools to live more intentionally in your family, work, and life. If you enjoyed our episode today, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an inspiring story or actionable takeaway. And if you know someone who would love this episode, share it with them. Because living an intentional life is better when we do it together. Until next time, remember, the life you want doesn't happen by chance. It happens by choice. Let's keep creating it one step at a time.